minutes away from they begin to load for the Acorn here, the 3-year-old fillies. Randy, Society Selection, the 2, now at an even 2-to-1 favorite in here.
This is why she is the favorite. This is the Comely. Back in the pack, she was shuffled back there. I mean, she really was crying to run, but Jorge Chavez had her behind a bunch of tiring horses and had absolutely no place to go. She's out of the picture now, but you're about to see a streak up on the outside in the blue silks and red right there, and that is Society Selection, and look at her roll. Now, that's Bending Strings in front, who's in the Acorn today, who's a pretty nice filly from the Karen McLaughlin stable, but Society Selection runs past her like she's standing still and wins under a hand ride by Chavez. Jerkins could have gone to the Kentucky Oaks after this, but he doesn't like to travel much, and you saw the graphic earlier. She's 3 for 3 in New York, 0 for 3 on the road, so he chose just to stay here and wait for the Acorn instead.
All right. That's Society Selection, the 2. Island Sand is the 5, and Island Sand put up a 100 buyer there in that Kentucky Oaks. Randy, you were saying she will be closer to the lead from the start. That was almost just a bad break more than anything, and then she was able to close on some very fast fractions.
It was a bad break in the Kentucky Oaks. She was a little antsy in the starting gate to begin with, and then she took a little hop once the gate opened, but it didn't really hurt her that much because the pace was the fastest pace in Kentucky Oaks history. They were screaming on the front end, and being that far back actually might have helped Island Sand instead of hurting her. You'll see her closer to the pace today, although she won't be, you know, right up on the lead because Friendly Michelle and the filly of Todd Pletcher's Bohemian Lady just a lot faster.
Let's get ourselves a Bud Long shot right now, Randy Moss.
Speaking of Friendly Michelle, right now she is...
Crank the music for this Bud Long shot.
Right now she is 6-to-1. He'd hoped to get the 8-to-1 that she was in the program, but Friendly Michelle is the kind of filly that has a chance to completely control the pace here. In her last start, the La Troyenne at Churchill Downs, she was dueling for the lead in extremely fast fractions, lost the lead in mid-stretch, fought back to win it. Today she could have a considerably easier time on the pace, and that's why Friendly Michelle... Boy, the music is loud.
That is the loudest Bud Long shot music ever. I would run, not walk, run and bet Friendly Michelle. That's a sign.
That's why she's the Bud Long shot at 6-to-1.
Hey, I want to advise and extend my remarks on 7 Bohemian Lady. Just kidding, obviously, saying great traffic scratch, and she should have, because she has shown some promise recently. It's just that the others have been showing promise at higher levels is really what I meant.
And the big question about Bohemian Lady is the distance. As Todd Pletcher said earlier, that was 7.5 in her last start, and she couldn't quite hang on. She had the lead in mid-stretch and lost it. Now this is a mile.
Tom Durkin is the fine race caller. Tom, how's it going upstairs?
Life is good. With one horse to move into the starting gate here. Friendly Michelle, we may very well see on the lead in just a moment. There in the gate. There it is. And they're off. La Reina, and there goes Bohemian Lady up to grab the lead. It is Bohemian Lady in front. Friendly Michelle, though, flashing her speed from the outside. Magical Illusion comes up the rail. Bending Springs is right there 4th. Victory USA comes on through to be 5th. La Reina is now 6th on the outside. Then a break of 4 lengths back to Island Sand. And the early trailer is Society Selection. 7 lengths from a good battle up front. They battled through a quarter in 23-2. Bohemian Lady and Friendly Michelle pushing her along. Magical Illusion just in behind them 3rd. La Reina in the clear 4th. Bending Springs only 2 lengths from the lead. She's 5th. Victory USA has lost a couple spots. She's back racing in 6th. And then at Society Selection, she's buried at the inside, on the inside of the trailer, Island Sand. They've run a half mile here in 45 and 4/5 seconds. They're moving right along now, and it is Bohemian Lady with the narrow lead. Friendly Michelle, though, right there with her on the outside. La Reina is poised in 3rd with 3 furlongs to go. Magical Illusion is moving well, while down on the inside, Bending Strings is in between horses now. Island Sand and Society Selection is buried at the inside as the field turns for home. Friendly Michelle hand-ridden into the stretch and into the lead. It is Friendly Michelle. Now in front, Bohemian Lady has dropped back 2nd. Here comes Island Sand. Island Sand is rallying. Society Selection comes on the far outside. Island Sand short lead. Friendly Michelle battles on toward the inside. Bending Strings and Society Selection. And here's the wire. And Island Sand scores by a bit more than 2 lengths, and it was dead tight for 2nd between Friendly Michelle and Society Selection. So emerging from the pack, Island Sand beneath Terry Thompson wins it here in 1:34.4. Island Sand is the winner, and it was really, really close for second.
We're giving that to the chalk-eating weasel Hank Goldberg. Society Selection, I think, got up for second. Either way, he was close. Boy, Island Sand, I think Tom was saying, buried back along the rail, looking for racing room, because she was quite far back most of the way and just kind of dug her way through to get outside and find some space.
She was back there with Society Selection during the early part of the race. Society Selection on the inside and Island Sand just to her outside. But look at her there in the yellow and black silks, really rolling. Friendly Michelle didn't break quickly enough to beat Bohemian Lady to the lead, but she relaxed nicely off the pace, took the lead at the top of the stretch, but just not good enough to hold off Island Sand. Island Sand, of course, the filly who was second in the Kentucky Oaks. This is the third year in a row now that a horse has come out of the Kentucky Oaks right back to win the Acorn. Last year, Birdtown won both races. The year before that, the Bobby Frankel trained filly U came from the Oaks to did it.
I'm now predicting predicting a dead heat for second at this point. Second time in history the Oaks runner-up has gone on to win the Acorn. This time it's the 5, Island Sand, coming from way back and winning impressively here in the Acorn. We're going to come back, tell you more about this race, and get you set up even further for the Belmont tomorrow. Here at Belmont Park, where Island Sand has just won the Acorn. A reminder, log on to ESPN.com. Make money from your home. Big Pick 6, the Long John Silver Pick 6 going on tomorrow. It ends with the Belmont Stakes. As many as $500 at stake. The Visa $5 million bonus not in play for that. So there's your Acorn winner, Island Sand. And this is the same jockey who won what last year, Randy? The Arkansas Derby?
He won the Arkansas Derby with Sir Cherokee. Talking about Terry Thompson as he dismounts. This is not only his first win ever at Belmont Park. This is the first horse he has ever ridden on this racetrack. So he had quite a nice debut here.
Well, that might speak well for the rider of Smarty Jones, who's not going to see the track before he races tomorrow in the Belmont. Janine Edwards joined the fray yet again.
Well, I'm here with Alex Solis, who just found out that he finished third on Friendly Michelle. It was that close? You thought you were second?
Well, obviously, I didn't see the filly Oxaromy. You know, I thought I finished second easy, but I guess there was another one that we didn't see.
We all thought that this filly would most likely be on the lead. She's got a lot of speed, but you said that's not necessarily where she needs to be.
Well, you know, she don't need to be 10 lengths back or 5 or 6. You know, she don't like door in her face. And right at the coming out of the gate, the 7 horse looked like they wanted the lead, so I just let her have it. And I mean, she rated real nice, you know. When I asked her down the stretch, she gave me a nice kick. Probably a mile's a little too far for her, but she gave it her best.
Yes, she did a valiant effort. Tomorrow you will team up with Rock Hard 10, a horse that you have never been on, not even in the morning. You'll ride him tomorrow in the Belmont Stakes. What do you know of him without having been on his back, and is that a disadvantage?
Oh, yeah. He's a nice horse. That's the reason he's here. He's one of the favorites. So, I mean, I watched his replays from the past. I watched the Preakness and, you know, study as much as I can. And, I mean, again, he's here for a reason, and that's because he's a good horse.
And if we didn't think that Smarty Jones could maybe possibly get beat, it wouldn't be a horse race, right? Back to you, Kenny. All
right, Janine, with the authority vested in me by ESPN, I now declare this race official. Island Sand is your winner, $10 even, and Hank Goldberg going to cash his $31.20 exactly. Not bad for those two.
Did we mention earlier that we had the Goodyear blimp here?
Yes.
And they have cameras?
We only ride along on the Goodyear blimp. Let's look at the blimp. Or actually, let's look from the blimp.
Yeah.
And find out the photography that was taken.
We are going into the turn here. Look at the very back, the yellow silks. That is Island Sand. And watch the job that Terry Thompson does, weaving Island Sand through some various holes. Now, it's Society Selection that she leaves back in the blue and red. Finally gets her to the outside here for the stretch run. And you can see Island Sand really making up ground on Friendly Michelle. And down along the inside, the other horse there that was fading, which was Bohemian Lady. But Island Sand, very impressive. Trainer Larry Jones, also his first trip to Belmont Park. He was going to run this filly in the dogwood at Churchill, and then Madcap Escapade got hurt and a shadow dropped out, so he called an audible and ran her in the Acorn instead, and man, now he's glad he did.
Now I know better the view my horses had today from behind there as Island Sand pulled away, going forward to win this Acorn, a grade 1. They'll split up 250 grand somehow. Congratulations all around there. We're coming right back here to Belmont Park but not until, of course, we give you the full order of finish for those of you who wanted to find out where Bohemian Lady finished. 7th in this case. Island Sand, Society Selection, and Friendly Michelle in that very close photo for 2nd place.
Victory USA, a badly disappointing 6th for Bob Baffert. And La Reina, obviously the blinkers didn't help. She's got all the breeding in the world, but finishing last of the 8 there for trainer Shug McGahee.
All right, let's go to the break now. I was just trying to make money for the company, okay? We're going to come right back. We're going to refocus on the 136th running of the Belmont Stakes, Smarty Jones and all that. Stay around. We're right here at Belmont Park.
This ESPN2 presentation of Citgo Acorn Steaks is brought to you by Citgo, fueling the greatest of American sports. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Michelob Ultra, lose the carbs, not the taste. By People versus the Pros, your chance to win $100,000 playing John Daly or Gary McCord. Register now. And by Long John Silver's new shrimp and seafood salad. Equibase.com, your official online source for racing information from entries to results and everything in between. Equibase.com is a service of Equibase Company, the thoroughbred industry's official database.
Island Sand now winner 4 times in 8 career starts with 3 second places. Tabasco Cats, the father in this case. Tabasco Cat, a winner of a Belmont. Janine's with the happy winners who probably got a trophy and money and all sorts of things.
That's right, and this is trainer Larry Jones' first Grade 1 winner of his career. Terry Thompson won the Arkansas Derby. He has a Grade 1 under his belt, but maybe it's something to do with Barn 5, because I hear that you are stabled, Island Sand is stabled in Barn 5 with Smarty Jones. Did that have any effect on her? Did he teach her anything overnight?
I sure hope she was listening. Yeah, it looks like she had. And he's 5 stalls down from me, so he put a lot of pressure on us. I mean, these guys, they said this barn, they wanted it to be a winning barn, so we had to go.
And your filly is sort of showing a new dimension. Her last 2 races, of course, in the Kentucky Oaks, she didn't get away from the gate all that well, but today, sort of the same scenario developed, and lo and behold, here you are in the winner's circle.
Yeah, this filly can run any way she needs to, and both races we've had to kind of just set up the way she give it to us to start. She broke really good at Arkansas, did not break well in the Oaks, and this time she broke really well. But I think running the 2 turns, she was just a little more relaxed, and you know we had to try to stay close.
How does it feel to win your first Grade 1 race, and here at Belmont Park, the day before the Belmont Stakes, no less?
Yeah, this is really good. My heart's still just a pounding, and I think that the building's still echoing. Last time I heard, we were screaming a little.
Well, we've got you actually screaming, hearing you just a little bit excited.
yeah, it's we get a little emotional.
Okay, well, it's well deserved. Terry Thompson, you were on this filly's back now. You've known her, you've ridden her a couple of times. What did she do different today?
She was a lot more relaxed in the gate, but yet in the post parade she got a little stirred up like she did in Hot Springs. So, you know, I was afraid she wanted to show a little too much speed, but once she broke out of the gate, and I grabbed her and kind of eased her back, and she went ahead and settled in like she did at the Oaks, but yet laid, 4 or 5 off of it instead of 10, and, is exactly what we had planned. It all worked out perfect.
Well, congratulations. Terry Thompson's first win here at Belmont Park in his very first ride. But, guys, Larry Jones is staying for the Belmont Stakes tomorrow. Terry Thompson has to go back and ride at Prairie Meadows tomorrow for Larry Jones. He will not get to stay and watch the Belmont.
All right, Janine, thanks. By the way, since I brought it up, the Acorn Belmont Double would pay $15 if Smarty wins tomorrow. That's 6.5 to 1. His chief rival, you and I believe, is Rock Hard 10. So let's look back at what happened at the Preakness 3 weeks ago.
Well, first of all, he wouldn't go in the starting gate. They had to put tongs on his ears, which is a little painful, but that's the only way they could get him in the starting gate. They dragged him into the gate. Sometimes they can make a horse mad and they won't put out. Yet he broke well, and look how close he is to Smarty Jones. That's him on the outside in the black and red in 4th. Smarty Jones is 2nd behind Lionheart right there. He's only a length and a half behind him. But Gary Stevens is afraid he's going to get caught wide. He takes back physically, really wrestles Rock Hard 10 back off the pace and gets caught wide anyway. He was looking for a place to sort of angle Rock Hard 10 and save some ground. Instead, he gets caught 5 wide, maybe even at some point 6 wide around the first turn, still under restraint. Not one of Gary Stevens' best rides. Now on the second turn, he's gaining ground still on the far outside. He gets to within a couple of lengths of Smarty Jones, but just is not able to go with Smarty Jones in the stretch. If he gets a better trip, if Smarty Jones regresses, if Rock Hard 10 continues to improve, he's the only horse that's got a chance to beat Smarty Jones, I think, in the Belmont.
And he has Alex Solis this time, who you heard from, instead of Gary Stevens, who's over there in Europe. He has commitments this weekend. Our expanded coverage of the Smarty Jones run for the Triple Crown continuing tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, ESPN. Today at the Belmont Stakes. That's followed immediately after a short break. 3:30 by the Belmont Stakes Special, also on ESPN. We'll have more in-depth features, live interviews, all the live racing here at Belmont Park leading up to that historic race. Hope you spend your whole day with us as Smarty Jones tries to become the first Triple Crown winner since affirmed in '78 and the 12th all-time. This, as you know, has been a presentation of ESPN. We're the worldwide leader in sports. For further verification of that and to substantiate your existence, go to ESPN.com. Up next on ESPN2, stay tuned for Smarty Jones, the Triple Crown Challenge. There's time only left to say, Uncle Hank, can I borrow some money?